Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. Welcome to the session on 4/1/2023. So now, no need for extra curbs on free speech of ministers. Supreme Court. Yes, this is important from polity point of view. Of what it is. You see, people are given the right to speak. They're also given right to life wherever it is possible. And it is the responsibility of the state to protect such rights from anyone, whether it is state or non-state actor. Fine, this line is very, very important, guys. You see, whenever there is a threat to personal liberty, even by a non-state actor, not only by the state, because normally we feel fundamental rights are protected against state intervention. Even if it is a non-state actor, it is the duty of the government to protect. At the same time, if it is a minister who has spoken, who has spoken something in the public, now if a minister speaks something wrong, we can't make the government accountable to it. See, for ministers, we have a term called as collective responsibility. What is the meaning of collective responsibility? If one minister does wrong, it is responsibility of the entire council of ministers. So if one minister speaks wrong, it cannot be collective responsibility of all the ministers. See, Prime Minister cannot control what the minister is going to talk in public. So such things will have negative impact. So the court is trying to say that a statement by a minister cannot be attributed to the government by invoking principle of collective responsibility. I want you to write this statement, guys, in your notes. In prelims, they'll give you same statements and ask you whether it is right or wrong. See, in several times you get judgment based questions as well. A statement by a minister cannot be attributed to the government by invoking principle of collective responsibility. Next you write, the state is under a duty the state is under a duty to affirmatively protect the rights of a person under Article 21 whenever there is a threat to personal liberty, even by a non-state actor. The next one, guys, Indo-China issue is going on. We do not believe in war but will fight if forced to. So, we are trying to have construction activities near the border. And here we are trying to say that if anyone wants to counter us, we will definitely fight them back. Because this is very, very important for us. IITB, triple ITB develops platform to provide Aadhaar-like digital identities for 9 countries. See guys, International Institution of Information Technology, Bangalore, IIITB. From here, we are trying to provide Aadhaar-like linkages to almost 9 countries, guys. It is a program called Modular Open Source Identity Program. Fine, Modular Open Source Identity Program. a digital identity platform developed by IIITB. Many countries have shown interest in it. India has extended it to 9 countries: Philippines, Morocco, Sri Lanka, Uganda, Ethiopia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, and Togolese Republic. Right? I just want you to have a word on this. That's it. Modular open source. You're right. Modular open source identity platform. Modular open source identity platform is developed by is developed by international institution international institution of information technology, Bangalore, aims to provide aims to provide Aadhaar like digital identities Aadhaar like digital identities for 9 countries. Several South Asian several South Asian and African countries have shown interest in this. See guys, in Tiruvananthapuram, right? In Tiruvananthapuram, we normally observe that biodiversity is extremely high. So, an invertebrate survey undertaken in Tiruvananthapuram Wildlife Division has reaffirmed the relevance of region as a biodiversity hotspot. The 4-day exercise to survey the invertebrates of Nair and Pepara wildlife sanctuaries and the Agastyavanam biological parks, with emphasis on arachnids, was jointly conducted. Fine. So yes, Nair Wildlife Sanctuary, Pepara Wildlife Sanctuary, Agastyamalai, Agastyavanam Biological Park. These names are important, guys. And make a note saying that, it reaffirms biodiversity richness. Fine. Just that if you write, that's enough. No need of numbers. Fine. You write invertebrate survey, invertebrate survey in the Tiruvananthapuram Wildlife Division has reaffirmed has reaffirmed the relevance of biodiversity hotspot. Full stop. Nair region, Pepara Wildlife Sanctuary, Agastyavanam has several species has several species, and it is recognized as biodiversity hotspot. See, guys, Jallikattu is one that is being done in Tamil Nadu, and there is a case against it, and Supreme Court is going to give judgment about it. So let the court give judgment, because before that, we coming to conclusions based on certain aspects is not correct. Overly differential. While upholding demonetization, Supreme Court failed to hold government accountable. See, guys, certain newspapers have their own mindset, and they accept certain things which they like and don't accept certain things which they don't like. Same as everyone. So we can't blame them. But Hindu newspaper was always against demonetization. So Hindu newspaper wanted to prove that, government was wrong. But the courts has said that government is right in doing so. For this, the Hindu newspaper is trying to criticize the court that, you are not interfering in the economy and political issues, because mostly it is left to the executive. But one should understand here that there is clear difference between legislature, executive, and judiciary. There are separation of powers, guys. Each has its own role. The role of legislature is to make the laws. The role of executive is to ensure that the laws are implemented in a proper manner. The role of judiciary is to ensure that no one is misinterpreting the law and no one is arbitrary. But each and every decision taken by the government cannot go to the court. And if it goes to the court, then the government cannot act effectively. So let's say government went for demonetization and immediately the court told, okay, put a ban on this for a while. What is going to happen? This would lead to problems. So government must be allowed to do what is correct according to them. And if at all whatever the government has done is wrong, then the courts will look into it constitutionally, but emotionally, as the paper is arguing, many people had to face problems and all. Yeah, if people have problems and if people are not in a position or they were not benefited from this, they had problems associated with this, then definitely they will vote the government out of power. So you have to leave it to the judgments of the people and the court at some point. We can't stick on to what we believe is right, irrespective of what others' opinion is. It is crucial for India to embrace multi domain operations. See, guys, we know that the biggest threat for us is China, and China is developing weapons, and these weapons are capable of, hitting or going closer to US. That means technologically China is almost going closer to US. Now, when that is the situation, it is very, very important for India also to have technologically advanced equipments. Why is it required? So, when we look at Russia Ukraine war, Ukraine is capable of hitting Russia effectively because Ukrainians are given world class weapons by US, and these are all aimed from space. That is, it is located by the space. The space will tell, okay, fine. This is the orbit in which you have to go, right? So they go in that particular orbit and they hit them accurately. Whereas Russians, when they are attacking superficially. So they got information that in this area someone is there. Russians are going and dropping the bomb. Whereas Ukraine is confirming with the help of satellite, seeing whether the enemies are present in that particular part or not, and then they are attacking. There is huge difference between Russian fight and Ukraine fight. So even if countries like China try to fight against India, if we have such equipments, we are capable of fighting against them. And remember, China is also fast in these. They also try to build the things accurately. So we should be on our toes and get it done. President Lula da Silva, this is about Brazil, guys. A late but right call by Kerala governor. Because here there is an article 164, guys. 163, 164, we are talking in this particular article. Polity based, it is very, very important. So now what actually happened, guys? There was a minister, Saji Cherian, and he told that constitution is made to rob the people. It doesn't help the people, but it will rob the people. Now, when the statement was made, the Kerala, ministers, they decided, okay, let's remove him. He should not make such statements, so he was removed from the ministry. Later, there was internal discussion, party conflicts, and all, and then they told, fine, let us bring him back. So they brought him back. Now, when he has come back, the chief minister has written a letter to the governor to give oath to this guy. But the governor told, I will consult my lawyers and come back. Because there is a statement which says, all ministers shall hold office during the pleasure of the governor. See, all the ministers will be loyal and they will work according to the governor. These are all terms, that's it. But the ministers are free to do the things even without being at the pleasure of the governor. So the word pleasure doesn't mean like governor can remove anyone when he likes and accept anyone when he doesn't like, because it is very clear that the council of ministers headed by the chief minister will aid and advise the governor in the exercise of his functions. You see, council of ministers headed by the chief minister will aid and advise the governor. So this is there from long, guys. Governor issues 163. Try to read about it. And schedule 3 also talks about oath. So in polity this year I want you to focus on article 163, article 164, schedule 3. These three are very, very important. As Bharat Jodo Yatra enters Uttar Pradesh, Priyanka calls her brother a warrior. Rahul wants India to surrender before China, says BJP. Withdrawal of PMGKAY will hurt poor benefit center. Not all religious conversions are illegal, Supreme Court. Supreme Court is now looking into the issue because recently Supreme Court had told that religious conversions should be monitored. So Madhya Pradesh government has told that before anyone converting into any religion, they should give a notice of 60 days and say that we are going to convert the people after 60 days. That they should clearly mention, guys. Others are saying that why should we take permission from the state government? State government is saying that if you give us 60 days before, we will go through it to check whether it is done by force, influence, coercion, or allurement. What is the main reason? They'll just try to check. Fine. This is what it is. So, Supreme Court is trying to say that not all religious conversions are illegal, but we need to wait and watch whether Supreme Court will tell taking permission from the state government is it required or not before we go for conversions. Public functionaries, PM, CM, is these things we saw. NIA team visits attack site in Rajouri, victims cremated in Dangri. Jammu Kashmir always has lot of issues, guys. And it's unfortunate that the people of those region suffer because of the activities that happen. Center's report on Jammu and Kashmir and statement in Lok Sabha failed to add up. There is they're planning for more investments and government has set a number and that number is not there. That's what they say. Home Ministry order on Ladakh committee is vague, says members. Scientific community must work to fulfill country's requirement, Modi. Yeah. Supreme Court raises concern on small fishermen hit by Persisene nets. See guys, beyond the 12 nautical miles, in our exclusive economic zone, the fishermen will go and do the fishing. But when they go beyond and do the fishing, as the water depth will be more, what these people will do, they go for deep nets called as Persisene nets. Big fishermen use Persisene nets and catch most of the fishes, whereas smaller fishermen are not in a position to extract these effectively because they will have small boats, small fishes. They can, they can small fishing nets. So now Tamil Nadu had banned this so that small fishermen benefit. But center had given, it is wrong to say that small fishermen will be affected. There is no such problems you can allow. But this is a fishing period in Tamil Nadu. So the fishermen are asking, government has said no. Central government is telling let's take time. But please give us some measures by the time everyone decides. So Supreme Court is planning to say at least you take some 15 days during this particular period so that by next 6 months we will be able to decide upon what should be done. Guys, Persisene nets. This must be there in your writing. Persisene nets are used to catch deep sea fishes. Deep sea fishes. Permanent members not in a hurry to see UN reform. See, guys, India wants to enter into United Nations Security Council, but mostly, developed countries or P5 countries are not accepting it. So we need to wait and watch. China warns of measures against unacceptable travel restrictions. See, guys, we are asking, please bring PCR report before you enter into the flight. China is trying to say that it is not science based, it is just political manipulation. We won't accept it. When Chinese are suffering and COVID is increasing, why will someone allow Chinese people without RT-PCR reports? All these are Chinese arguments to show to the world that they are more powerful. India set to eye $17 billion cut in food fertilizer subsidy spend. See guys, Indian government has planned to ensure that food subsidy and fertilizer subsidy is removed. Fertilizer and food subsidies account to almost 3.7 trillion rupees, and they are planning to reduce them systematically, is what the article is trying to argue, guys. They're telling, like, it is the proposal made by someone to the government. So there is some insider information. We cannot rely on such informations. Fine. So thank you, guys. We'll meet tomorrow.